So I'm sure that you've probably been thinking about investing and you may not know exactly where to begin. Well, I'm here to tell you that WeBull is an amazing platform that's really simple to use and you should check it out. Just click on my exclusive link in the show notes to sign up and WeBull will actually give you 2 free stocks. And even better, when you sign up and you deposit money into your WeBull account, you can earn up to an additional $1,400 in stock. So make sure that you take action today on your financial journey and check out WeBull. Welcome to episode 36 of the Financially Free Journey podcast, and I am your host, Courtney Dyer. What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the Financially Free Journey podcast, where I aim to dispel the seemingly complex topic of personal finances, money management, debt, savings, investing, and even retirement. And this podcast is really designed to help you feel empowered by increasing your overall knowledge so you can flex your money muscles. And thanks again, everyone, for tuning into the show and really showing us some support. Tons of you have gone and subscribed, rated, and reviewed the show. So thank you so much for doing that. And if you haven't already, just make sure that you go subscribe. You'll get updates on the new episodes that come out, and just hit the 5 stars and then leave a quick review for the show. That 30 seconds that you take really does help support the show, and it makes the show more discoverable to other listeners that are looking for this type of content to listen to. And also, if you do have a question about anything that has to do with money or your finances, if you want to inspire a topic for a future episode, or you want me to answer your specific question, I can do that anonymously on a future episode. Send me an email. It's to financiallyfreejourneypodcast@gmail.com, and I will make sure to answer all of your questions on future episodes. So, of course, as I said, you can remain anonymous. Now, let's get into the show that I have planned for today. The title of this episode is pretty juicy, and I know most parents out there listening right now have thought about this concept and how they can try and set their children up for financial success. How can we make our children better than us, right? As parents, that is something that is constantly on our minds. How can we help them get started early and steer them in the right direction? Well, today we are going to be talking about that very topic, and we're going to talk about a very underutilized and talked about option to really kickstart your kids' wealth and really help them build up their own financial success. So here's the deal. Very little people talk about or even know that minors can have an IRA or an individual retirement account. As a parent, there is just some simple rules that you have to follow and set yourself up for success. So think about it. Setting up your little one with an IRA could help pay for college and even for their own retirement in the future. In this episode, I'm going to be going over just some simple IRS rules that you need to know in order to set up an IRA for your kid, and then also the benefits of doing so and how or when you can spend that money that's in the IRA. So are you guys ready? Let's do this. So if you have your kids' future as a priority and you want to also teach them about the fundamentals of investing, establishing an IRA for them is a fantastic way to hit the nail on the head. As a parent, you can open and manage the IRA for your children until they become an adult themselves. So let me lay out an example of just how impactful this money can be for your child's future. Let's say you contribute $500 a year, or to break it down further, that's $40 a month into your kid's IRA. And let's say you just do this for 5 years, from the time that they're 15 to 20 years old. Let's also say that your kids never contribute to this IRA as an adult. They never put a dime into it themselves. Let's also assume that the average return for an IRA is about 8%. And at the age of retirement, which is 65, your child would have close to $100,000 thanks to you. $40 a month for 5 years into an IRA can give your kid at the age of 65, their retirement age, close to $100,000. Can you imagine if your parents gave you this gift? Can you imagine if you could factor in an additional $100,000 from your parents into your own retirement plans? I can't think of a better way for you to help set your kid up for success as an adult. So can you spare $40 a month for your kid? Most of you listening, that is the difference of going out to eat one time a month. Giving up that takeout one time a month could help supercharge your kid's financial future. It seems like a no-brainer to me. Now, let's take it one step further. Let's say that you took this opportunity to teach a child about saving and investing and instilled in them the importance of saving for their own future. Now, let's say that your kid continued to save for their future when they became an adult and they continued contributing $500 a year or $40 a month until they turned from the time they turned 18 until they turned 65. Your child's IRA would be worth close to $300,000 by the time that they were ready to retire. Again, I don't know about you, but an additional $100,000 to $300,000 at retirement, thanks to my parents' contributions and money lessons, would be an amazing gift, don't you think? And as a majority of you already know, the longer you wait in life to start investing and saving for your retirement, the more that you have to personally contribute because you don't have that eighth wonder of the world, compound interest, working for you all that time. Putting away small amounts of money for a long period of time can make you a millionaire, and this is something that you can help your child do for themselves by getting it kickstarted. Even if you save $125 a month for 50 years, assuming the average 8% return in the market during that time, you or your child will have amassed $1 million. Okay, we are going to take a quick sponsor break, but when we come back, we are going to go into just simple rules to start the IRA for your kid, so don't go anywhere. As you all know by now, diversifying and investing your funds in the stock market is a top strategy that the wealthy use in order to continue to build their wealth. Now, if you're trying to strengthen your financial health and you have ever thought about investing, I am here to tell you that WeBull is a platform that you need to simply check out. WeBull was designed by top experts in the financial and the tech industries to create a simplified and streamlined platform so you can have the best experience possible. WeBull knows that you, as the individual investor, should feel empowered when it comes to investing and really have a platform with all of the right tools to help assist you to be successful. Some of the key features I like are 0% commission, 24/7 customer service, extended trading hours, and free real-time quotes, just to name a few. So you can go and create an account by clicking on my exclusive link in the show notes, and Webull will actually give you 2 free stocks valued up to $250. You can also earn an additional stock valued up to $1,400 just by depositing funds into your WeBull account when you sign up. So make sure to go take advantage of this amazing incentive so you can start your investing journey today. Okay, welcome back, everybody. I hope you enjoyed that quick break from this episode's sponsor. Now, many people don't realize that minors can have an IRA and that you can make contributions to an IRA when you receive taxable income during the year. The only restriction here with a traditional IRA is that you can't contribute after the age of 70 and a half. So let's just say a child earned money during the tax year. You or your child can contribute as much as the child made during the tax year to the annual limit, which is currently $6,000. Here's the part that you really have to understand. The earned income has to be documented, which means you can't just fund an IRA for your child who can't legitimately earn income. You can't pay your child for their chores around the house and contribute it to an IRA without proper documentation. You also have to pay your child reasonable rates for things. So, for example, how much would you really pay your kid to fold the laundry or to take out the trash? It has to be a reasonable amount for the documentation. So you may be wondering, how then can I contribute to an IRA for my child? Well, let's quickly go over the allowable types of income for a minor. So there's wages, tips, commission, and self-employment income. So here are the 2 most popular types of income we're all familiar with as adults, and this applies to your children as well. There's, of course, W-2 income. So your older kids, your teenagers may have a part-time or a full-time job depending on the time of the year, and the amount that's shown in box 1 of their W-2 is the amount that they can contribute to the IRA for that year up to the annual limit of $6,000. Now, there are kids who don't have W-2 income, but but they babysit, they mow lawns, or they do household chores. What about these kids? Well, kids or adults who earn income on their own without an official business structure are known as sole proprietors. This is the type of business structure that people use when starting a business, and it's typically operated under your social security number, and it doesn't require any formal business documentation to form. Now, a sole prop is owned and operated by one individual person. The business name is the same as your child's name, or you can choose something different if you want. For a child's self-employment income to count, aka their money from babysitting, mowing lawns, taking out the trash, lemonade stands, for it to be eligible to contribute to an IRA, you or your child must file an annual tax return. And you're going to use Schedule C or Schedule CEZ to report the income and any related expenses to earning that self-employed income. Now, if you want to count what you paid your child in chores, babysitting, etc., remember that you have to keep a detailed record. Maintain a record showing the date, the amount that they were paid, and what it was for. And to take it one step further, you can even open up a savings account for your child and then write a check to your child for the work that they completed for compensation. This way, at the end of year, you have a detailed record and you can just refer back to the bank statements on your child's savings account for the taxes. Now, just something important to note here, even though your child must have earned the money in order for it to count to the IRS, that specific money isn't the money that has to be deposited into the IRA. In other words, it doesn't matter where the contribution comes from as long as it doesn't exceed the amount that your child has earned throughout the year and that you have documented. Also, another note, contributions to an IRA can be made anytime throughout the year, and it can be made up until April 15th of the following tax year. So if you're wanting to contribute $500 to an IRA for your child for 2020, you can make that contribution up until April 15th, 2021. And another great tip here is that you can set up a matching program for your minor. I really like this idea. If they earn a specific amount of money and contribute it to their IRA, that you will match up until a certain amount. This is such a cool way to teach your child that very important concept of getting them prepared to contribute to a 401k and to capture that employer contribution. So now let's talk about how you can go ahead and open up an IRA either for yourself or for the purpose of this episode for your child. The formal name of an IRA for a minor is called a custodial IRA, and you can open this up at any major financial institution or brokerage firm like Fidelity, Charles Schwab, TD Ameritrade, or USAA. The account will actually be in your child's name, but you as the adult will manage the account until your child turns 18 years old, or depending on the state, sometimes your child has to be 21 to take control of the account. Now, you will probably have the choice of opening up a traditional or a Roth for your child. Now, just remember, with a traditional IRA, you don't have to pay the taxes on the contributions when they're made. The taxes are going to be paid when your child actually starts taking withdrawals from the account as an adult. Now, that the IRA is open for your child, let's assume you've opened it up, you're going to have to pick the investment vehicles that your child's money will be invested in. Now, remember, your child has time on their side, and their long-term money investment opportunity is really growth as the objective. So the long-term objective here is growth. So I would absolutely talk to a financial professional when you open up the account about the options that are available to help meet your long-term growth objective. And this typically is in the form of equity investments like stocks. Now that there are some amazing benefits that come along with opening a Roth IRA for your child, and those benefits are things like, for example, after you have the account open for about 5 years, you can withdraw funds from the account prior to the age 59 and a half that were previously taxed without having to pay any penalties or additional taxes. So just something to consider when you're thinking about traditional versus Roth. Now, usually withdrawing from a Roth IRA triggers income taxes expenses and a 10% penalty if you haven't reached the age of 59 and a half. There's one exception to this rule, which is pulling the money out to pay for qualified educational expenses. This means with this option, your child's money isn't only locked up for retirement. Your child has more options with their money, and the IRA is a great vehicle for that and for your child. So now it is always better to not withdraw from the account because the money is compounding and growing, and it's good to know that there are options for pulling the money out, but I would absolutely encourage you to talk to a financial professional about this option for your child and see if it does make the most sense for them and your current financial situation. So thanks again for tuning into today's episode, and I really do hope that this episode inspired you to not only focus on your financially free journey, but how you can help your child start their own financially free journey and really set them up for success and their financial future. And as always, go subscribe, rate, review the show, and if you're not already, make sure you follow us on Instagram. It's at Financially Free Journey for more tips and motivation to help you on your financially free journey. Until next time. So are you sick of hearing about WeBull yet? Well, I hope not, because WeBull is an amazing platform that you seriously just need to go check out. So make sure to click on my exclusive link in the show notes and sign up and deposit funds today.